show is going to consist of some topics which include general opinions about our society as a whole, mainly Western society. It's going to be talking about cultural disrespect, and I'm doing this little intro to warn you that there will be parts of this vlog which has very strong language, so I urge younger viewers to look at the educational purpose behind this vlog rather than the content of the language. We are talking about cultural disrespect, so the point of me actually using these particular words is to prove a point. Listen to the content and tell me what you think. Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Natamil, and this is the whole truth. Today we're going to be looking at cultural disrespect, the way that our Western society disrespects each other and thinks that it's cool or appropriate, but it's not. It really isn't. I was just watching a video by Gia TV. She was doing a video response to, I think it was Mad Black Lady on the Marta or something like that. I will put up a link to the video in the description. And it was basically this young lady that was on the train, and apparently a older woman had commented on her or said something. It doesn't really explain what happened prior to this incident. And she just totally went ballistic on the old woman. I mean, like, she started to sing Soldier Girl, you know, all that kind of jazz, and it just wasn't cool. It wasn't cool at all. And a lot of people are looking at this, mainly the black community, because it happened to be an African American that was putting on this display. We're looking at it and we're being very critical of it, and we're really putting ourselves in check. And I think that sometimes we need to see these things in order to really put ourselves in check. Mind you, it's not only the African American community that is displaying these acts of disrespect, because we, as we all know, each and every culture does express some sort of disrespect. And our Western society, which we have merged together, all the different ethnicities and different cultures that we have within our countries, Canada, America, even Latin America, you know, South America as well. We've merged it together and we've embraced the culture of disrespect. And it's getting to the point where it's demeaning us as the younger generation who's growing up into this society. And also it's giving us a bad rep as a you know, this part of the world, the Western Hemisphere. We are getting a bad rep because of our disrespect. Many cultures, I know in Asian cultures, they do have a very high level of respect in the way that they conduct themselves. And, you know, when we're growing up in the Caribbean, you know, you gotta hello ma'am, hello miss, hello sir, to your parents, to your aunts, to your uncles. You know, there's a certain level of respect that you must have unless you get your butt whooped. And that's pretty much it. However, in North America, we've grown a little bit far apart from that. And I want to know what you guys think about this. Topic came about while I was looking at an Ebony magazine. And Ebony magazine is very good for bringing up issues about the African American community. Not all of it is negative, which is something that I appreciate about this magazine in particular, but it shows the positive aspects of the African American community. However, this topic that they were talking about happened to be the cultural disrespect, and I shared my little bit on what cultural disrespect is, and I'm going to continue to just elaborate a little bit more on what this essay was talking about in particular. We're looking at a topic like cultural disrespect. The question comes up that should it even be looked at? Is it even worth trying to solve? The problem with an issue like cultural disrespect is that we have even gone to the point and the extent where we have embraced this as our identity, as our culture. If we look at many of the music that we have even as a black community, there is a lot of disrespect that is directed towards women, directed towards ourselves, directed towards, if we're looking at the aspect of who we are targeting this music, this kind of lifestyle that we are presenting to the children. These are the things that we are disrespecting. And we have taken it to the point where we embrace it and we call it ourselves. We take it as this is us, and that's how we present it to the rest of the world. And that's how we see, and that's how they see us. It gets to the point where when other people start to recognize this and start to embrace exactly what we have dished out for them to embrace, that's when we have a problem with it. And when we look at it, it's really our own fault. Glorify disrespect rather than having a high intolerance for disrespect. And that's the problem. And I think the reason why we think that this is acceptable is because we don't always see the consequences of our actions. Never do we see the repercussions for calling a woman the B word, a bitch, okay? Or calling a black person a nigger. We don't see the repercussions of it immediately. It doesn't take effect. Unless we come to the point where it is a Caucasian person who is calling a black person a nigger. That's when we have a problem with it. But it's not so. Take, for instance, a woman who is being called the B word constantly. She has now embraced that identity, whether we believe it or not. If you call somebody something long enough, our words start to take action inside of their lives, whether we meant it to or not. If you call a woman the B word enough, that might result in her self-esteem being lowered, her spiraling down into a state of depression, selling her body, doing all those kind of things, which is the persona of a person who is a bitch, you know? So in this cases, we don't see this and we take it. And when that person starts to develop these characteristics that we have now in place in their lives, we start to think that we're okay and we were correct in the first place, when really we were the instigator, the creator of this very same person. Now, maybe that example was a little bit over the top, but take for realistic considerations. If you have the audacity to call a woman the B word, that is implying that she is no longer on the same level as a human being. We know that the B word is a term used for a female dog, and dogs are pets, which allows this person to take on the persona of a pet. That woman now goes and marries or gets together and involved with an abusive man, which ultimately leads to her premature death. Why? Because she had now taken on the persona of female dog, which you had called her. Now you are responsible for her death.